chapter 87, verse 22. Let's see if I can get that up for you. Share and there we are. Okay. I can't chant these verses. The meter's a challenge for me. Vasudev Prabhu. We did that, yeah. Anupatam kulayam idam atmasuhrit priyavach.
Charati tathonmukhe tvayihite priya armanicha.
Charanti tanonmukhe tvayihite priya atmanicha.
Navataram Jaho ahasat upasanayatmahanno.
Nabata ramanatyaho asad upasanayatmahano.
Yavanushaya brahman shuru bhaye kusharira vrittaha.
Yad anushaya brahmanat yuru bhaye ku sharira bhritya. Thank you very much. That was beautiful. So, translation. When this human body is used for devotional service, it acts as one's self, friend, and beloved. Unfortunately, although you always show mercy to the conditioned souls and affectionately help them in every way, and although you are their true self, people in general fail to delight in you. Instead, they commit spiritual suicide by worshipping illusion. Alas, because they persistently hope for success in their devotion, because they persistently hope for success in their devotion to the unreal, they continue to wander about this greatly fearful world, assuming various degraded bodies. Commentary. The Vedas have strong words for those who choose to remain in illusion rather than serve the all-merciful personality of Godhead. The Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad 4.3.15 states, Aramam asya pasyanti natam pasyanti kaschana natam virata ya ima jajanayad yushmakam atmaram babhuva niharena pravrita jalpa chasyatrapa ukta shashascharanti. Everyone can see the place where the Lord manifested himself in this world for his own pleasure, but still no one sees him. None of you know him who generated all these living beings, and thus there is a great difference between your vision and his. Covered by the fog of illusion, you performers of Vedic rituals indulge in useless talk and live only to gratify your senses. The Upanishads, they speak with a cutting approach, cutting no attachments. The Supreme Lord pervades this universe, as he says in the Bhagavad Gita, Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat. Nothing in this world, not even the most insignificant clay pot or shred of cloth, is devoid of the presence of the personality of Godhead. But because he keeps himself invisible to envious eyes, avyakta murtina, materialists are misled by his material energy and think that the source of material creation is a combination of atoms and physical forces. Displaying compassion for foolish materialists, the personified Vedas advise them in this prayer to remember the real purpose for which they exist, to serve the Lord, their greatest well-wisher, with loving devotion. The human body is the ideal facility for reviving one's spiritual consciousness Its organs, ears, tongue, eyes, and so on are quite suitable for hearing about the Lord, chanting his glories, worshipping him, and performing other essential aspects of devotional service. So I think I'll finish there. There are some other paragraphs that we can study as homework. So for the time being, I'll stop sharing and we can begin discussing some realizations on this section. There are two words that really stood out for me in this verse, two phrases, let's say. Atmahana, killer of the soul, and Atma Suhrit, the friend of the soul. So this is a nice juxtaposition. The body itself can be Atmahana, killer of the soul, or Atma Suhrit, the friend of the soul. How can the body be both? It's an apparent contradiction, and the resolution to this apparent contradiction relates how we choose to use these bodies. The killer of the soul, Atma Hana, even that is an interesting contradiction, because the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna spends a lot of time telling us, Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka, na chainam kladayantyapo, na sasayati maruta. No weapon can destroy the soul. It can't be burned by fire, moistened by water, withered by the wind. It can't be cut by any weapon or sword. Modern day weapon, they are ineffective against the soul. And yet we have this phrase, Atmahana, the killer of the soul. So that's also a curiosity. It's one that I've thought about long in life. Since childhood, I would ponder this question: how do you kill the soul? When I had learned in my Gita classes that it was not possible to kill the soul, so I would think about this in depth, and in time came to understood that in this instance, the language of the Upanishad or the Bhagavatam, or because it appears throughout Gita, you'll find this. Bhagavatam, you'll find this. You'll find it in the Ishopanishad as well. Asurya nama te loka nandena tamasa brita. It was there quoted in the verse that we. Tamste pritya vigachanti yeke chat mahano jana. So atmahano jana. The killers of the soul, whomever they may be, must enter the planets known as the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. And so Bhagavatam, Upanishad, Gita, consistently using this contradictory language, and Haripurush Prabhu is suggesting it's a poetic license. I think it's a provocative contradiction. It's to shake us up, to arrest our attention. Yes, of course, the soul can't be killed, but you're practically killing the soul in killing the opportunity for Atma Tattva, for realizing the self. So we use figurative language in day-to-day speech. We talk about being broken-hearted. We talk about our world collapsing on us. So these figurative modes of expression are common in our language, and they are dramatic. They're meant to be dramatic. They're meant to communicate some extraordinary type of experience beyond the ordinary, something extra. It's extraordinary, and so this dramatic language is used that is not to be taken literally. Another phrase that devotees do discuss ad infinitum is the Nitya Bara Jiva. You have Nitya Bara and you have Nitya Siddha. And they take one side of this equation. Nitya Bara means you're never in a liberated state. But if that being the case, we would be in our whole spiritual practice would be pointless. Because it would suggest, if it is to be taken literally, then we will be in material condition forevermore, for all eternity. And so, hopefully, all of our Shastra tells us, all of our acharyas, all of our teachings tell us otherwise, that we can be extracted from the material nature, that we can be purified of the material condition. And so then we have to understand this is a figurative mode of speech. Prabhupada translates it as since time immemorial. And that's much more hopeful for us. So Atmahana, a figurative mode of speech, some dramatic language to advise us, no more than that, to shake us and to say, don't waste this human form of life. Don't misuse this human form of life. The Bhagavatam 11th canto, Krishna tells Uddhava, he uses this Atmahana phrase as well. It's very beautiful. Dri deham adhyatma sulabham sudurlabham, like Prahlad Maharaj. This human life is very rare. Sudurlabham. Plavam sul kalpam guru karanadharam mayanukulena nabhasvateram teritam puman bhavabdhim nataret sa atmaha. He says this human form of life is very rarely achieved. It's rarely achieved. However, it's also given to us automatically by the modes of material nature. It's rare, it's given, so we've received this good fortune of a human form of life, but it has a great opportunity, and that is that it is a boat, a perfectly constructed boat that can take us over the ocean of material existence. Plavam sukalpam gurum karanadharam. The spiritual master will be your captain. Devotees like this metaphor. Prabhupada is the captain of our ship. I think there was a song of that. Prabhupada is the captain of the ship. Mm-hmm. Bhakti True Maharaj used to like this metaphor. He would use it a lot in his classes. Okay, Guru is the captain. What are the winds? Favorable. The favorable breezes. What are those in the metaphor? Veda. The teachings of the Veda. Krishna's instructions given to us by the Veda. Today we are reading the prayers of the personified Vedas. Maybe just a slight tangent to point out how we are reading the prayers of the personified Vedas. Maybe it's already been discussed, but it's good to come back. And that is a very profound question that Parikshit Maharaj has asked Sukadeva Goswami. He says, if the Vedas are transcendental, but they exist with us in time with using material vibration, how can they describe the supreme absolute truth? How can they really reflect and convey the Godhead? We say that this is apurushraya transcendental, and yet we are vibrating mouths, pushing air, creating sound vibration that is supposed to describe the Supreme Absolute. So Sukadeva Goswami says, oh, no, don't hold this misconception. Let me tell you about a conversation between the four Kumaras, describing the prayers of the personified Vedas before Krishna's creation. So Mahavishnu is lying in the Karana ocean, and the personified Vedas, they see that he is about to create, that from his breath, the universes will be generated, he'll be casting his glance over the material nature. And so as he's waking to create this outward breath of creation, then they glorify him. These are their prayers. And so these are the songs that we are hearing now. So these transcendental sound vibrations are given into this world from outside, conveyed by devotees, acharyas, and those sounds are the favorable breeze that will take this boat, what is the human body, over the ocean of the material existence under the direction of Guru. He says, but Krishna tells Uddhava, if you fail to do this, if you fail to take advantage of this boat, this captain, these favorable breezes, then you are Atmaha. So slightly different phrasing, rather than Atmahana, you are Atmaha. It means exactly the same thing. You are a killer of the soul. So we think to the Bhagavatam, we can find an example. I don't know that I've heard him described exactly with this phrase, killer of the soul, but I think he's a good example of misusing the opportunity of human life. And that is someone who's very expert. He's named expert, Daksha Prajapati. He's one of the sons of Brahma. We meet him initially in the fourth canto of the Bhagavatam. He's so expert when he performs yajna, the demigods personified come to receive their oblations, but then he's very arrogant as well. He offends Lord Shiva, his wife commits suicide. No, let's say differently. She commits sati. It's something different from suicide. Correct myself there. And then, yeah, he has his head removed by the demon Virabhadra. There's a nice painting of Virabhadra made by a devotee from Australia, Ram Prasad. It's in the BBT books, Bhagavatam. And then in Rishikesh, I went to a temple and they had that painting on the altar. And it puzzled me. What's Virabhadra? It was a small Shiva temple. And then they had Ram Prasad Prabhu's painting there. What's going on here? And then I came to understand they actually follow Virabhadra in that area. Prajapati Daksha's yajna happened in the Rishikesh area. Mm. And so Virabhadra, he has a fan club. Devotee bhaktas of Lord Shiva, they also honor Virabhadra in that area. So yeah, that was quite a surprise for me. So yeah, Brigu Muni lost his beard. Daksha lost his head in that sacrifice by Virabhadra. And then once things had calmed down, the Devatas came to apologize to Lord Shiva under Brahma's direction. Shiva said, I'm not upset. That was some time ago already. I don't hold any grudge or resentment. And then they asked, how can Daksha be reinstated? So he said, well, there was a goat that was to be sacrificed. It was beheaded during all of the conflict that happened afterwards, after Virabhadra arrived. So you take that goat's head and you place it on Daksha's shoulders. Daksha's head was put into the sacrifice. It was gone. There was no head there for him anymore. So you take the goat's head, put it on Daksha's shoulders, and he could be reinstated. And he was. He performed another yajna, invited Lord Shiva that time around, and Vishnu was pleased at the congenial relations between everyone. He also chose to come to be personally present at that yajna. Fourth canto continues with descriptions of other personalities. Dhruva, Prithu Maharaj, the Prachetas, Prachinabari. And then we come to I'm just going to skip a canto. We come to the sixth canto, and there is this personality who reappears from that list. The person who reappears is Daksha. Daksha's next birth. So everyone else described in that canto, for the most part, they're going back to Godhead, fourth canto. Daksha is still around. And he appears this time as a prince, as the son of the Prachetas, and Marisha, the daughter of Soma and the trees. And so then Daksha, he wants to have progeny. He's the prince now. He's the king. He's the dynasty of Uttanapad, of Dhruva, of Prithu, of the Prachinabari. It's on him now. And so he goes to the Himalayas to perform austerities. He chants a very powerful prayer, the Hamsa Guhya prayers. And Vishnu comes personally before him. Vishnu comes before you and says, yes, what can I do for you? What Adipurush Prabhu would ask, what Vasudeva Prabhu would ask, what Ananda Bihari Prabhu would ask, or Bhima, is very different from what Daksha asked. He said, please give me potency to have lots of children. So Vishnu said, so be it. He blessed him. Okay, on one side, that's his dharma, his responsibility to make that request. He could have added, let me always remember you. Brahma says, I have to create, let me create, but never allow me to forget you in this process. Daksha didn't have any such concern. He asked for potency to create lots of progeny. And he was effective. He had 10,000 sons called the Haryashvas. Narad Muni preached to all of them. They became bhaktas, sannyasis, brahmacharis. So Daksha had another 1,000 sons, the Shavalashvas. Narad Muni preached to them as well. They all became bhaktas. He told them, hey, you boys, you know, your older brothers, they became devotees. Really? Yes, and you should as well. And so it was easier for him to preach to the Shavalashvas than to the Haryashvas. And Narad Muni considered, I have delivered so many people in this family. I delivered Dhruva by my preaching. I delivered Prachinabari by my preaching, telling him the Puranjana story. I delivered his sons, the Prachetas, by my preaching. I delivered the Haryashvas, 10,000 of them, and the Shavalashvas. Maybe, just maybe, I could deliver Daksha this time round as well. Second birth. After his exalted birth as the son of Brahma, he's been born now as a Kshatriya prince. Maybe I can deliver him. And so Narad Muni visited Daksha, tried to teach him Atma Tattva. And Daksha yelled at him and called him someone who is against Vedic culture and someone who is a Dharma Dvaji, who breaks Dharma by convincing young people to take up Krishna consciousness. And he cursed him. You'll never be able to stay in one place for more than a few days. Oh, is it? Okay. That was 3 days, yeah. Sukadev Goswami didn't stay anywhere longer than it took to milk a cow. And the curse of Daksha, 3 days, Narada Muni couldn't stay in one place. And Narada Muni, you read it, it's very wonderful. Narada Muni thinks, this is a great offense. Last time he offended Lord Shiva. And, had so much reaction, he's had to take birth again in the material world. Now he's made offense to me. Also a bhakta of Lord Narayana. It's not good for him. I'm sure he'll change his mind. I'm sure he will repent and think, yes, I shouldn't have done that. I should go and apologize to Narada Muni. So let me stay here, that he will take this opportunity. But Daksha continued to abuse him. And so Narada Muni said, such is the effect of one who offends Vaishnavas. And he left so that he wouldn't add to his offenses. Out of his compassion, Narada Muni left. Narada Muni was able to convince and preach to Dhruva and Prachinabarhi and Prahlad. He's the Vyasadeva, he's the guru of so many in the Bhagavatam. Vyasadev's own guru. So Vyasa's writing the Bhagavatam, and he's also describing his Guru Maharaj's preaching exploits. Narada Muni really is the hero preacher of the Bhagavatam, but he wasn't able to deliver Daksha. And therefore we might say he could be an example of Atma Hana. Let's briefly consider Atma Suhrit. Briefly, because I know Ananda Bihari Prabhu wants me to leave time, 15 minutes for comments. So Suhrit means friend or well-wisher. And Arjuna Maharaj, he often begins his public lecture, a lecture that he's given thousands of times in front of hundreds of thousands of people. He says, the Veda says, Atato Brahma Jignasa. And then the way Prabhupada translates it, now that you have achieved human life, you must inquire of the Absolute. Now that you have achieved the human form of life, it is the time to inquire, who am I? Why am I suffering? What is my purpose? And Arjuna Maharaj will say, the animals, they have other gifts. The birds can fly, fish can stay underwater, moles can dig burrow holes and stay underground. Tigers, lions, they have sharp teeth and powerful claws and powerful bodies. What is the gift of human life? It is this ability to inquire as to the absolute truth, to engage in this philosophical inquiry, Atma Tattva. And so this possibility is what actually makes us. It is the gift of human life, and when we use that gift, then we are living a human life. We are living to our potential. So that possibility makes the human body Atma Suhrit, the best friend of the soul. In any other species, it's not possible. Even in the demigod forms, material life is too good, too pleasurable. And so thought of Atma Tattva, thought of spiritual quest, spiritual inquiry, a committed spiritual practice doesn't come to them. The benefits of their piety are such that they don't have any sense of urgency. In human life on planet Earth, we can see heaven and we can see hell. Hell helps us to wake up to the reality of material existence. And the heavenly experiences give us hope that something better is possible. So human life on planet Earth, Bharata Varsha or Bharata Bhumi, this is the best position, the best opportunity for cultivating spiritual life. That is where this human form is Atma Suhrit. Suniti, Dhruva, Prachinabarhi, Haryashvas, Shavalashvas, they are all taking advantage of this Atma Suhrit, the human life, to as one's best friend, enabling them. We read in the Bhagavatam, they are going back to Godhead. Dhruva, Suniti, they are on Vaikuntha Vimans, being carried to Vaikuntha. Ajamila is being carried on the Vaikuntha Viman back to the spiritual sky. And so that possibility is there for us as well. Don't be Atmahana. Don't misuse this human form of life. Kill the soul. Yes, dramatic language, figurative language. The unkillable soul is practically being killed because you're sending the soul for another cycle through so many species before, again, this Atma Suhrit, this soul-friendly human form, the potential of human life will be there again. So there we conclude, dear Vaishnavas, and we hand over to you for reflections, comments, questions. I'm going to hand over immediately to Adi Purush Prabhu, and Vasudev Prabhu is here as well, and then Krishna Daya Prabhu, I see your hand raised.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear us okay? Hello?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Wow, wonderful class. And very perplexing. The verses describe the bewildered, those who are not taking advantage of the human life properly. And we have the challenge to navigate our spiritual life in the presence of those who are bewildered. What occurs to me is one time we were traveling in Alabama. You know Chedi Raj? Did you ever meet Chedi Raj? Yeah. Anyway, we were going along, approaching people and offering them opportunity to engage in service by giving donations. And there was a little fruit stand by the side of the road in Alabama. So this gentleman, he listened to us and he gave a donation. He said, I make tomato juice. This is the best tomato juice on the planet. You have to taste this. It's wonderful. It's all natural, all natural. So Chedi Raj took a cup of the tomato juice. And he said, all natural. Well, we're going to offer this to the Lord. He made an offering. And then as he was drinking the tomato juice, he said, it's got nothing but natural ingredients, tomatoes and pig blood. As Chetty had a mouthful of tomato juice, and he spit it all over the man. Oh, no. All natural, where these, even the well-intentioned among the bewildered are enticing us to ingest gross and subtle activities, and we have to benefit. Fortunately, the man had this tomato juice all over his face and everything, but it set off a conversation where Chetty was preaching to him, and the man had given a donation, and he said, he explained to him about prasadam, but the thing is, it's very tricky for us to be living. The whole verse was about bewildered people. We have to live among them, interact with them, and offer them access to devotional service without, Prabhupada says, catch a big fish but don't get wet, without being drawn out of the boat, so to speak. So that's a very profound illustration of what we're up against here. Be careful that we don't get, induced to ingest something abominable. Okay, glory to Prabhupada. Sorry to talk so much.
Well, thank you, Prabhu. Asane Prabhu.
Yeah, I just thought about Adi Prabhu spoke about the blind following the blind. That's another Upanishadic theme, actually, which comes in the Bhagavatam as well. That we live in a society in which the soul is basically killed systematically, practically. And yeah, and people follow those who are misdirected. Following is such a big thing right now, like follow people on social media. It's it's called the Andha Parampara, the blind succession. So we have to be careful as we're exposed to so much in this world, so much information nowadays. What kills the soul is what we hear. And so to always be attentive to hear about kata, which sound vibration, which enlivens the soul, which doesn't put it in further slumber.
Hey, thank you very much. Thank you. Krishna Daya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for the wonderful class. A lot of stories. In the middle of the class, you are saying about the story of Daksha's second appearance and then Narada Muni encounter. I just wanted to know, like, Daksha was doing that. He went through the difficult process of procreation because he was asked to do, and then he was like and then that's his duty, and then first time, second time. So I know he should not have lost his temper, but if somebody is coming and then obstructing the service, different people have different ways of serving the will of the Lord, and then when they clash, you know. So always we tend to see, of course, Narada Muni is a very pure devotee. We tend to see from the point of Narada Muni. But is there, so is it not like clashing the services? Narada Muni is coming and then, sort of coming in, interfering in the service of Daksha?
Yeah, good question. Thank you so much for bringing this up. Very practical as well. We might have some clash with our god brother or god sister as we try to serve the spiritual master. There is a difference. Daksha, he's performing his duty. So performing your duty is a good thing. Daksha is very expert in following the Veda. He is expert in performing the yajna in his first birth, performing the Vedic ritual. Second birth, he's expert as a prince, and this responsibility of procreation. So he's doing it as a matter of duty. But we are more than followers of the Veda. We are more than followers of our dharmic duty. We are bhaktas. We do everything for Krishna's pleasure. And Daksha doesn't show that. We don't list Daksha as one of the great devotees. He's not one of the Mahajanas. Prahlad, Narada, Bhishma, Sukadeva Goswami, these are the bhaktas, these are the Mahajanas of the Bhagavatam. Daksha's not there. He is a follower of the Veda, and he's very expert in performing his Vedic duty. But the Bhagavatam is not there to teach us to follow Vedic duty. The Bhagavatam is rejecting, kicking out all so-called religious teaching, pseudo-religious teaching. It's kicking it out, and it is giving us something that is transcendental, the mature, ripened fruit of the tree of Vedic literature. And so Bhagavatam wants us to take that fruit. Daksha is not the example. So yeah, and that would also be why he's angry at Narad. Because when you're doing your duty, doing your service, and you try your best. Krishna is telling Arjuna, you fight, win or victory or defeat. If you do your duty as a matter of service for Krishna's pleasure, it's all success. But if you don't have that attitude that I'm doing my duty for Krishna's pleasure, victory or failure, it's a success, then you get angry. So here Daksha is angry and he's not appreciating Narada Muni. In fact, he's accusing him of violating the Vedic Dharma, because his lens is Veda, Vedic duty, Vedic Dharma. He can't understand Bhagavan Bhakti. And so when Narada Muni gives a gift to his sons, so much greater than the rewards of Vedic pious merit, Daksha is unable to appreciate it. And he really does feel, and he really does believe that Narada Muni has done a disservice. He's violated the opportunity for his sons, and he sent them in the wrong direction. So yeah, he's not a Vaishnava. He's an abhakta.
Okay, Prabhu. Yeah, thank you.
Prabhupada says that even though there is resistance, we go on. He said Narada Muni was receiving resistance, but he still went on preaching, even though there was some antagonism.
Prabhupada said, I have also been cursed by he says, as Narada Muni, in the purport, he says, as Narada Muni was cursed by the father of the Prachetas, of the Haryashvas, Shavalashvas, I have also been cursed by the parents of my disciples, and I'm unable to stay in any one place. I have to always move. So Prabhupada accepted that curse for himself.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Haribol.
Thank you very much, Sri Prahlad Prabhu, Vasudev Prabhu, Adipusha Prabhu, all the assembled Vaishnavas, for your association, for allowing us to hear from the right source and the right mood through the proper channel. Thank you.
My computer doesn't give a good darshan, so I'll try to get it with my phone.
Hari Purusha Hari Purusha Hari Purusha Amaham Bhajami
Adipurusham.
Jai Shri Shri Radha Muralidhar Shigar Chandra. We thank Sri Prahlad Prabhu for the wonderful class again. Would anyone like to speak? Is there a reflection you'd like to share, maybe? Okay. Would Isaiah like to say something loudly? Annabelle?
Sorry, we lost you for a second. Oh.
Thank you. Thank you, Isaiah. Thank you, Annabelle. Thank you, Karen. Happy Sunday, everybody. We love you. We need you. Stay tuned for Srimad Bhagavatam. Vasudeva Prabhu said something really profound. Hearing is what kills the soul. Wow. That was scary. I was like, what do I hear? I hear all kinds of things. Bhima Prabhu,
Said what was profound?
that hearing is what kills the soul. When we hear, when we take something in that's not appropriate, that's what kills the soul, Vasudeva Prabhu said.
That's why I have headphones on. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Thank you. Adipurusha Prabhu, thank you for the story, for the colorful story. Wonderful testimony. Okay. Hare Krishna. Nice seeing you.
Nothing but
Go on, Adipurusha Prabhu. Go on. When you speak, we feel very comfortable. We know it's coming from Prabhupada.
he was the gentleman who was offering the tomato juice. He was convinced that it was good. It's all natural ingredients, just tomato juice and pig blood. The funny part, they're so funny. Poor Raj, he had a whole mouthful of this and he just went and spit it all over the man's face. Oh, it reminds me one time I was leading kirtan and there was this great big fly. Not just a little teeny little housefly, but a big black fly. He was flying around. And just when I went hard, he flew right in my mouth. Now the point is, that fly didn't stay in there very long. It went right out. So when something comes in that we're not supposed to hear, or not supposed to think, or not supposed to look at, we're not supposed to eat anything and everything, or look at anything and everything, then it must be rejected and renounced, and we turn to the real what's pleasing Krishna.
Great analogy, Adipurusha Prabhu. Thank you. Your
Is
stories are
that-
always so graphic and colorful. Thank
Krishna, we pray to Krishna what to say. We pray to Prabhupada what to say.
you.
He gives us these things. We'll go to Prabhupada.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, dear devotees.